pictures that show the power of time. These teddies were bought at the same time 30 years ago, but one of them was given to a kid and the other was kept in a storage. And this is what happens when you don't clean a building for 50 plus years. I actually didn't know they were supposed to be white. Here's what penises looked like 80 years ago versus now. I wonder if they still accept the old ones. What do you guys think? And here's the size difference between 100 used bills versus new ones. Pretty neat.
Imagine accidentally knocking on the wrong door and then being murdered because of it. Well, that's what happened to 56-year-old Maria Cotto after visiting a client at an apartment building in Westchester. Maria was a caseworker for the county's Department of Social Services and was conducting home visits when she accidentally knocked on 31-year-old Hasim Jekin's front door. When he answered the door, instead of directing Maria to the correct apartment, he punched her in the face. Maria tried running from him, but he chased her into a neighbor's apartment and he continued to kick her in the head with a pair of heavy boots. Somehow, while this was all going on, she managed to call 911, but when police arrived, Hasim claimed that Maria tried to stab him and that's why he beat her. But that never happened. She only knocked on his door because she thought that was her client's home. This poor lady suffered severe brain bleeding, brain swelling, and multiple facial fractures. She was placed on a ventilator, but unfortunately, she passed away a month later. When Hasim was arrested, Maria's phone was found in his pocket, and now he's facing a long list of charges, including second-degree murder. And something her family said, which is so sad, is that this all happened the year before Maria planned to retire.
Tastiophobia. Thalassophobia. Most secret places you are not allowed to visit. The Elephant's Foot, Chernobyl. A deadly mass of radioactive lava beneath Reactor 4. Just standing near it 4 minutes could mean certain death. Even now, decades after the Chernobyl disaster, it still emits dangerous levels of gamma radiations. It's expected to remain hazardous for thousands of years. Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Norway. This high-security vault was built to preserve humanity's foods supply in case of global catastrophe. It's sealed tight, only opened during true crisis.
Ghost from different countries. Japan. Kachasek Ona. Spain. Santa Campana. Thailand. May Nak. United Kingdom. Bloody Mary. Nepal. Yeti. Pakistan. Pichilpiri. America. Bell Witch. Mexico. La Llorona. India. Pishacha.
Okay guys, breaking news, it's actually happening. So every adult in the UK will now be required to have a new government-issued digital ID. Why, you may ask? Well, apparently immigration is the reason. So this announcement is supposed to be made official tomorrow by Keir Starmer, and anyone starting a new job in the UK will be soon required to present that digital ID. Now, this is all because it's said to be helping illegal immigration, because those digital IDs would then be automatically checked checked against a central database that will see if you are legally allowed to work in the UK or not. Now, it probably should be noted that this has been a talking point in the UK for many years, but no government before has done this, one, because of massive public hesitancy around digital IDs, but also because of the big questions of whether this would even help the problem it's intended to help in the first place. There's also a lot of other concerns about privacy, about civil liberties, about potential cyber attacks, having access to all of that data. And then also the big question is that if it doesn't have the intended effect that it does, so it doesn't drop that UK small boat crisis, then will it be abolished? Will it be taken away? And if not, then why? So let me know what you guys think. Are you a fan of digital IDs or not?
Have you heard about this supernatural phenomenon that sometimes happens to people in really bad car wrecks? Well, apparently multiple people who have been in horrible car accidents have reported seeing the same strange thing. It's called the third man syndrome, and it's when a supernatural presence offers comfort to a victim during a survival situation. I'm going to share one of the crazy stories with you now, but if you're interested in this, tonight's episode is going to be all of these stories. So a few years ago, a Reddit user was in a horrible car wreck. Like so bad they cut the car door off to get them out. They black out during the accident, but as they come to, they see a woman open their car door and get into the back seat. And the woman put her hand on the driver's shoulder and told him that it was going to be okay, and then she said that help was on the way. The user then blacked out again and came to with a fireman cutting off the door of the car. Afterwards, they're with it enough to talk to the police officers and the firemen on the scene, and they're telling them like, hey, there was this woman that got in the car with me, is she okay? And everyone is like, there was no one in the car with you. Apparently no cars passing by had even stopped for the accident because the fire department was so close, so it was super unlikely that anyone had gotten in the car with them. But this is not the only time that that's happened. Other people have reported a woman getting into the car with them after an accident. There's so many other supernatural stories just like this that I explore in the episode tonight, so make sure you're following along.
This sick fuck was nicknamed Mr. Pedophile by his students. So this is David Fail. He's from Colorado and he was recently arrested on child sex abuse charges. David was a 6th grade school teacher in Colorado in the Douglas County School District. According to students, David would friend children on Snapchat and send them shirtless photos and photos of him blowing kisses. He would talk inappropriately with them, and children even said that he would have conversations with them about pornography while at school. Other kids went on the record and said that when they were in David's classroom after class or before class, he would pinch them on the buttocks. One child even claimed that David picked them up and sat them on his lap, and that they felt that David had something hard in his pants. And another child, like I said before, stated that David held onto their buttocks while they were having a conversation. Keep in mind, this guy's 49, and these are 6th graders we're talking about. He also told his students if they told their parents about what he was doing, he could go to jail. And he gave the kids hand massages in his classes. Like I said, students were talking about these things with each other so frequently that they actually nicknamed him Mr. Pedophile. This was a nickname that the kids gave to their own teacher. Now, thankfully, he's been arrested and charged with these acts against children. Hopefully the charges stick. But this is just another disturbing story from another day in America. I don't know how many goddamn stories like this we have to hear before we start making some sort of institutional change to protect our kids. If you want to hear me rant more about topics like this, listen to my podcast, The Conspiracy Files, which is on all streaming platforms. Or you can watch the video version of my show where I rant about topics like this and expose predators at The Conspiracy Files.
Speaking of violence, I mean, for Des Freeman, is this going to end, in your opinion, in any way other than in a violent confrontation?
If people are assisting him, I'm sure there's also people saying give up, just hand yourself in. But they're probably not willing to do that themselves, hand him in. He may decide to hand himself in himself, or he's just going to fight to the end and wait till he's discovered. With the current situation, I think it's going to end badly, the way it's going, or he's no longer with us. The best thing for him to do is surrender and come out and just face the music, just have the whole thing end.
Badasses of History, Part 4. After having his leg amputated due to cancer, 21-year-old Terry Fox started running across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every day he ran a full marathon for 143 straight days until his cancer forced him to stop. He ran a total of 3,338 miles, and his fundraiser has helped raise more than $600 million to date. In 1883, the body of Frank Devereaux and a bear were found found dead beside each other, with the ground around them thrashed for 20 square feet. It's believed that the man and the bear fought to the death. American pilot Thomas Fitzpatrick once drunkenly stole an airplane from New Jersey and landed it in front of a bar in Manhattan to continue drinking. 2 years later, someone at the bar didn't believe his story, so he went and did it again. During World War II, American Private Edward Arns was found clutching a sword surrounded by 13 dead Japanese soldiers. Barely hanging on to life, his last words were, "I guess they didn't know I was a Marine."
3 Minecraft facts that you probably didn't know. Did you know that the Enderman's language is just English played backwards? And did you know that Minecraft was originally called the Cave Game? And lastly, a school in Sweden makes their kids play Minecraft every single day. Make sure you share this message and follow for more.
Test your phobia. Trypophobia.
So I was looking at buildings today are even able to do this.
Yo, what's up? Here's some scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know. Part 43. One of the reasons refrigerators are magnetic is because back during the early 1900s, children used to get stuck inside of these when they were playing hide and go seek, and they would actually suffocate and die. There's actually a condition known as arachnodactyly, and it makes your fingers and your toes appear abnormally long in comparison to your palm and to your foot. It can appear at birth or later on during life, so don't think you're safe just yet. There is a chance that you could experience internal bleeding, but you may not even know it's going on until it's too late. Oh yeah, I didn't know if you knew this or not, but actually when you die, they drain your body of all the blood. They put a tube through your jugular, it goes down a table, and then it empties out into like a sink or a toilet. Yeah, and then it's just replaced with formaldehyde.
Top 3 most dangerous places in the world. At number 3, Lake Natron. This lake here in Tanzania, Africa is that dangerous, it's not even funny. The pH levels and temperatures are that high that if you went to swim in it, it would pretty much burn off your skin. It's the equivalent to a lake of acid, and some say if hell had a lake, this would be it. And you won't believe it, there is one animal that can survive here. Yeah, these orange gangsters, flamingos. At number 2, Snake Island. Just off the coast of Brazil, this island is infested with millions and millions of snakes. If you went here, you would see up to 5 new snakes every single step you take. Oh yeah, they're all venomous and extremely dangerous. And at number 1, this house here. If you don't already know, this is 10 Downing Street, the home of this lunatic Boris Johnson, who is planning on keeping the UK in lockdown until the year 2085.
People are saying your favorite celebrities are hanging out with a witch. As you can see, this woman is pretty friendly with a lot of celebrities. A$AP Rocky, Kim Kardashian, Kanye, even Amigos. But why are they so deeply connected with this woman? Her name is Michelle Lemmy, and it says she's a fashion designer, film producer, etc. But she's also married to Rick Owens, who is known as the Dark Lord of fashion. Look, here she is even wearing his head as a purse. Oh, and she's very close to Marina Abramovich, whose art is a little demonic. I mean, she once threw a party with a human-shaped cake. I kid you not. Look at this. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this just a connection for fashion, or is there something more darker going on? And make sure you guys hit that follow button, because my next video will blow your mind.
One of the most famous leading ladies of all time, Anne Hathaway, has lived before, and she is the reincarnation of one of the most famous leading ladies of the past. There's a massive conspiracy theory that Anne Hathaway's husband, Adam, is the reincarnation of the most famous playwright of all time, William Shakespeare. Because look at how much they look alike. It's very suspicious. And if anyone had the Illuminati power to reincarnate themselves, it's the most famous man of his time. And guess what Shakespeare's wife was named? Anne Hathaway. And this is what she looked like. Look familiar to another Anne Hathaway we know? And here they are all together. The theory goes that they wanted to reincarnate so they can come back and the wife could be famous in this lifetime, maybe so she can act, because women weren't allowed to act in the 1500s. And Anne is very known for her poised, proper, almost old-fashioned way of talking and behaving that rubs some people the wrong way, but maybe it's because she's from a different time. Before I show you the most eerie part of all this, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theory about each of these celebrities and request who you want to see next. Anne Hathaway was born on the exact day, to the date, of Shakespeare and Anne's 400th wedding anniversary. To the date.
So today we're going to take a look at the world's most unexplained things. My grandpa had a dream before I was born that I was his brother who shot himself in his heart. I was born with 3 holes in my heart and mutated valves. The top comment is, "Hey brother, welcome back." When I was little, I had imaginary friends named Dokjo and Dimka. Decided to do my ancestry, they were actually my great-great-grandparents. I don't know about y'all, but if my child ever said they had imaginary friends, I don't play that game. My dad passed away unexpectedly when I was 22. We started seeing his face in random places. Like in this photo of a curry plant, this was only a few days after he passed away in this exact room. Showed my dad this goofy picture my friend took of me. He then showed me this picture of my grandmother, his mother, who passed away. I have never seen this picture of her before. Bro, I'm telling y'all, reincarnation's gotta be real. The top comment is, "No one cares, Tori. You're ran through and an alcoholic. Your grandmother looks respectable though." Make sure to subscribe if you're new here.
You can tell how clean someone is by their kitchen or their bathroom. You can tell how neat someone is by their living room. You can tell someone's personality by their bedroom. You can tell how organized someone is by the inside of their car. You can tell how healthy someone is by their fridge and their pantry. You can tell someone's self-esteem by the way they show up. You can tell how busy someone is by how they listen. You can tell someone's dedication by their body. You can tell how stressed someone is by the attention that they give. You can tell how respected someone is by the way other people treat them. You can tell how respectful someone is by the way they treat other people. You can tell how healed someone is by their playlist. You can also tell how toxic someone is by their playlist. You can tell how real someone is by their responses. You can tell how comfortable someone is by their posture. You can tell someone's values by how they view other people. You can tell how dangerous someone is by their demeanor. You can tell how envied someone is by the way other people talk. You can also tell how hated someone is by the way other people talk. And you can tell how loved someone is by their family or friends.
Top 20 best horror movies of 2025 so far. 1. I Know What You Did Last Summer. 2. We Woman in the Yard. 3. Until Dawn. 4. The Shrouds. 5. Wolfman. 6. Ash. 7. Clown in a Cornfield. 8. Death of a Unicorn. 9. The Damned. 10. The Monkey. 11. Presence. 12. 28 Years Later. 13. Companion. 14. Nosferatu. 15. Bring Her Back. 16. The Ugly Stepsister. 17. Together. 18. Final Destination. Bloodlines. 19. Dangerous Animals. 20. Sinners.
The left side of the road is technically the right side to drive on. If you drive on the right, ironically, you've been doing it wrong. Because at first, the entire world rode on the left side, and for a very valid reason. Even way before cars were around, in the time of the Romans, with their horses and chariots, they always kept to the left. The reason being that most people's dominant hand was typically the right, as is still the case today, with only about 10% of the world being left-handed. This was to keep the arm they would hold their sword in free for potential combat and jousting with their neighboring traffic lane, which would have been their right hand attacking the left lane. And it was like this for hundreds of years, albeit with horses and carriages, not cars yet. But then someone came along and was all like, I don't like this. I want everyone to ride on the right from now on. And so he fully changed the rules of road travel because he was left-handed and preferred to ride on the right side so that his left sword hand could be free. That person was Napoleon. Bonaparte, that French guy who took over Europe, so that he and anyone who was left-handed could have an advantage in combat during their travels. Some historians will tell you that he wasn't actually left-handed, that Napoleon was just keen on changing centuries-long traditions for the sake of creating a new society, the whole purpose behind his revolution. Either way, he is the one that brought right-hand driving into every place he conquered, which continued into our modern civilized world. Only the United Kingdom, being the French's eternal arch-nemesis, refused to adopt the right-side road travel, which is why even today, they and many other countries which were once British colonies or just influenced by British culture still drive on the left, and the rest of us drive on the right, because this guy here said so. Disclaimer, please follow the correct driving laws in your country. Don't drive wrong just because you think you're right.
Yo, what's up? Here are some facts that you probably didn't know about the world's most notorious serial killers. During his killing spree, Jeffrey Dahmer had so many dead bodies in his apartment that he ended up having to store one in his bathtub. But not only that, he continued to shower over this corpse that was in his bathtub for about a month or so. Just want you to think about that for a second. After being placed behind bars, David Berkowitz, otherwise known as the Son of Sam, claimed that he was saved by Jesus and basically counseled and preached while he was in prison. Now, I don't know how you go from killing around 6 people to becoming a preacher, but hey, what do I know? Richard Chase, otherwise known as the Vampire of Sacramento, basically took unlocked doors as an invitation to come in and kill. And if your doors were locked, well, he would just walk off and try another house. Please keep your doors locked. Serial killer Durango Vargas confessed to killing and eating over 10 people, but he claimed that he wouldn't eat fat people because they were too high in cholesterol.
She lost her life because she mispronounced a word. Lydia Charity Schatz was born on March 15th of 2002 and was originally from Liberia. Kevin and Elizabeth Schatz lived in Paradise, California with their 6 biological children. The couple decided they wanted to add more to their family, so they headed to Liberia to adopt 3 children, including Lydia. What Lydia and her 2 siblings thought were going to be a loving home was the complete opposite. On February 5th of 2010, Lydia was harmed so badly with a 1/4-inch plastic tube just because she mispronounced a word. Kevin and Elizabeth held Lydia down for 9 hours and harmed her so badly on her back that it caused severe tissue damage. That following day, Lydia passed away in the hospital. Lydia's 11-year-old sister Zariah was also harmed by Kevin and Elizabeth because allegedly she was a bad influence and a liar. She was hospitalized in critical condition but fortunately survived. When Kevin and Elizabeth were being investigated, they stated that they used a child discipline teachings by a fundamentalist Christian organization. Investigators discovered that Elizabeth and Kevin were doing this to their biological children as well, and were even teaching their oldest daughter to join in on doing this to her siblings. In court, Kevin was found guilty and sentenced to a minimum of 22 years, and Elizabeth was also found guilty and sentenced to 13 years in prison.
The ancient Romans had a bone to pick. This solid silver ancient Roman amulet was sold at an auction, and try to take a guess as to what it was used for. It's only 3 centimeters tall, depicting a grotesque head with exaggerated features dating back to around the 1st to 2nd century AD, part of a private collection called the Esteemed European Collection. And it has this long, prominent nose, high cheeks, and a massive forehead, but what does it all mean? Well, grotesque features were traditionally used in amulets during the time of the Romans as a way to ward off evil, to keep the bearer protected and serve as symbolic reminders of the separation between our earthly realm and the divine. And I guess, lucky buyer scored this one right here for £3,200, about $4,300, so I hope it was worth it.
So I've gotten asked like 3 times this week if I think that Paul Walker actually faked his death and he's still alive out there. Now, up until this week, I had never heard this theory, and I was like, I don't know. So then I looked into it, and here's what I found out. Now, we all know that Paul Walker was like a big car guy, like a big car enthusiast. That's probably how he got involved with the Fast and the Furious franchise to begin with. But that love of cars was actually his real life personality. He loved really cool cars. So some people thought it was a little bit coincidental or ironic or strange that he actually died in a cool car. But one of the things that's a little bit weird about this is he was with his friend Roger, and Roger was a professional driver, racer type of person. So Roger would have been super experienced when it comes to driving really fast cars, and it seems a little bit strange and unlikely that, he would end up you know, dying when he had all this experience driving these really crazy cars. With that being said, though, I feel like, you know, we've heard of instances of, you know, even like NASCAR drivers dying in like crashes and stuff like that. So that part in and of itself isn't all that strange. But here's where things do get a little bit weird. This is the car that, you know, both of these guys actually ended up passing away in. Let's take note of the license plate. It's 7CCY590. But the license plate that was like at the crash site is 3URS93. So why are the license plates different? Like, did they get swapped out at some point? Because everybody saw him leave with the car with the original license plate, and then all of a sudden this one was at the site. So did the cars get switched? Like, what's going on? This part's a little bit strange. And the other thing that's kind of weird is like the story I found out actually leaked before he actually died. So he wasn't even dead yet. And there were all these like news outlets already posting about how Paul Walker died in a car accident. So it's almost as if these news outlets already had this information and like accidentally like released it a little bit early. I had never heard that part before, but that part really got me because that's happened with other like celebrity death kind of situations too, where like the news accidentally leaks like before it actually happens. And so it's like, what's going on here? So now I'm starting to understand like why people are speculating about this, because it seems like there's just a lot of things that don't add up that are just like a little bit too strange. Any of these things by themselves, other than the news leaking too early, would have been like, okay, I mean, it could happen, but I feel like everything put together, it does make for kind of a suspicious situation. But here's the part I really don't understand. A lot of the other like celebrity deaths that people speculate might have been faked, there's like a very good reason why they might do such a thing. With Paul Walker, I'm having a really hard time finding a motive of like what would make him, you know, want or need to fake his own death. Like, he was a pretty big celebrity, but I don't feel like he was like at like, you know, mega star status to where like he couldn't even live or do anything. I don't know. And I also don't think he was like in any trouble that I know of. So if you know of a reason why Paul Walker might have wanted to fake his own death, put it in the comments. Or is there a chance that maybe the death wasn't faked, but maybe it was planned? If so, why?